You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week, featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live this week, Daryl Kristen.
In drag!
Yes, Daryl's in drag, and it's me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Black Hollywood Live. You are here at This Week, and joining me in the studio this week is the lovely Camila over from Fashion 411. What's up, girl?
What's up?
And we got DJ Jesse J in the building.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, Boo. And I'm your host, Courtney Stewart. We got so much to talk about this week, guys. So much to talk about, so much going on. The Oscars were announced this week, and we ain't gonna talk about it because this is Black Hollywood Live, and it ain't nothing black about the Oscars this week, so we're gonna move on from that. But what we are gonna talk about is the buzzer meter question from last week, because we had some serious, intense conversation with a whole lot. Last week, it was all testosterone up in here except me.
Oh, was?
Yes.
What happened?
Camila, it was all men's. They were fine men's, but it was all men's.
Show up.
They were going in on the future of Ciara.
Future versus Ciara. We talked about it last week, as most of y'all, you know. Do you know the story about
Yes.
Future Ciara? Okay, so whose team were you on at the end of that?
I mean, I always try to go for the women, but I feel Future, but at the same time, you popping syrup and doing all this other stuff, so it's like
Popping babies up
and
out of
popping
all these
babies out of
girls.
everybody. But I feel like also Ciara knew what she was getting herself into when she
True
had
that.
put that, thing on the thing, But
I think one of our YouTube commenters, actually, I'm sorry, I don't have the name with me, brought up the fact that these women know what they're getting into with these dudes, and they are at fault. But, so, buzzer meter question from last week was, who do you side with, Future or Ciara? 64% of y'all said Ciara.
Yep. I mean, I feel that. I would think most people.
It wasn't a landslide, because,
Right.
that's still 36% that
I'm
sided
actually
with
surprised
Future.
36 actually sided with Future.
You thought
it's
it would
probably
be
all
less?
the guys.
Well, I was surprised because in the studio last week, everybody was on Future team.
Really?
Except me.
I'm Team C.
Well,
I mean,
you kind of were like vacillating in the middle.
Because I understand. Because here's the thing.
We
what
all
would really bother me?
understand.
Yeah. What would really bother me is if Future really is just trying to have this relationship with his son. It's hard for me to fully go there with Future and believe that. But
the thing is, you
want
ain't
to.
even around your other kids, so why is it so
but
big
it's
to be
like-
around Future, baby Future?
Because it's in the news.
Because it's in the news and he's got an album coming out. But whatever. I'm obviously Team Ciara, but good
Yeah,
luck
of
to all
course.
of them, because I think it is, in the end, all a hot mess. So this week's buzzer meter question, we're doing another team situation. Like, whose side are you on, guys? Are you Team Farrah or Team Nicki Minaj? We're going to talk about that in a little while. And first up, we're going to talk with whatever Jesse got going on. What happened with you in your stories this week?
Well, girl, so we was gonna talk about the Oscars, and that's who
were
everyone
going
needs
to.
to be mad about.
But we boycotting talking about the Oscars, but we going to talk about it, but we boycotting talking about it.
But everyone mad at Sylvester Stallone. So the Golden Globe, shout out to Denzel, shout out
Yes.
to Taraji, shout out
It
to
went
Lady Gaga,
down.
you one even got one. And shout out to
Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
too,
he
because-
won because
Leonardo
he's
was
been
fine.
wanting for a while, so
know.
he deserved it.
But there was kind of a little bit of negative buzz afterwards towards Sylvester Stallone, who won for his role in Creed.
Yes.
He went up on stage, very happy. I kind of felt like, though, when he won the award, so basically he thanked everyone except for the director of the movie and the star of the movie, who
can be
both
horrible.
happen to be black,
Yes.
Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. So people are kind of saying, is that shade? Is there a
Right.
little bit of racist shaded in there? And I don't know. So I saw the video. Apparently he came out afterwards during the commercial break and thanked them because he had forgotten. I watched Wendy Williams. She was like, "That don't count, boo."
It didn't make it on the live broadcast.
Which is
Right.
true, but he apologized for it. But the funnier clip was I was watching TMZ and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh God, what did he say?
First of all,
You know, he is
was
cuckoo.
drunk.
Oh no, TMZ.
He looked. No, you know what? I'm trying to be more positive. He looked like he was having a great
time. He was enjoying himself.
Yes, hanging out the car and everything.
Oh Lord.
Oh.
But so the
what?
TMZ person had asked him about if he thought there was anything shady about Sylvester. Now, Cuba's worrying about what car he's getting into. Got into the wrong car.
Oh Lord, he was definitely
Didn't
drunk.
answer the TMZ guy. Gets out the car, then gets back in his right car. About 5-6 minutes later, processed the question and said, "Y'all better leave Sylvester alone." He was like, "I love black people." He was like, "But don't get mad at somebody, who got Alzheimer's."
Oh no,
Does he have
didn't.
Alzheimer's?
I
haven't heard that.
think so. I haven't heard
But
that.
I mean, like, isn't he like
But
does
maybe-
boxing and stuff like
well,
that?
maybe he like was just
Hit
referring
something.
to like forgetfulness
Right.
as Alzheimer's. Like, nah.
Well, sometimes you do
legit.
forget. Maybe he
Yeah.
did, but coincidentally, it was two of the black people.
Yeah.
So of course,
I'm not
the
gonna lie,
world.
like watching it, because I was watching it while it happened, and as soon as it happened and he walked off stage, I was like, "Oh, Sly, you forgot the Negroes."
Because-
and I thought of it and I knew it was gonna be a thing, even though I don't think it was anything on purpose. Like, it's not like he was reading off a paper,
Right.
so you're like, "Oh, you actually didn't write them down." Like, you win an award, you're surprised. He played Rocky for 40 years. Like, he
Yeah.
didn't know that he would win at all, so he was probably shocked and all that energy. Like, you forget. So I get it. But yeah, I definitely had that black girl like, they
Like,
gonna
oh.
come for him.
But did you
they
die?
coming.
Because as I'm watching it, he keeps saying, like, you think he's gonna end, but then he says, "Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
and you're like, okay,
You're like, you gonna
okay.
get there?
But
Nah.
most importantly, and you're like, here it comes.
Nah.
I want to thank
It
my
never
invisible
happened.
friend Rocky. And you're like,
he did say my best friend.
but here's the thing, guys. He's an older man, and he said
know.
he said the last time he had been there was 1970
It was
something.
when it was
Yeah,
the first
so-
Rocky movie.
and I felt like he was talking
72,
as if
70?
it was then.
Yeah.
And so let's just leave him alone. And if you know Sylvester Stallone's story, period, I don't really think he's the type of person to go out there and
Yeah.
shade, because he's been through a lot and his story is actually remarkable.
Remarkable.
So, but moving on from that.
That's
It
funny.
was comical though to me.
You know us
we
black
love you,
people, we be
Sylvester.
like, you didn't say our name.
And I knew it.
Craig,
And as soon as you refreshed on Twitter,
Yes.
there it was. Oh, so he ain't got to wear it. You
Right.
ain't talking about because you won because the black people helped
Right.
you. Like, it's just ridiculous.
it goes there.
It was funny.
My people, my people.
Love y'all though. Love y'all.
We're going to have to write our notes on our hands.
Because it
y'all.
was kind of bogus that
Yeah.
it was the two black folks
Right.
that didn't get, whatever.
the two real important people of the film.
No, real important film. But those are the ones you forget. Like when they forget to thank their wives and that kind of thing. It's like the
Yeah.
person's close to you, you often forget. So.
And he seemed like he was more focused on his wife and family.
And his family, yeah.
Okay, so speaking about wife and family, Michael J. White.
He's so cute sometimes.
Michael J. White?
I think
Hell yeah. Oh, he.
it's just physics because he's so
The
like,
physique? Okay.
yeah. But I think he's a little small, like
Little
for
shorty
me,
guy?
But yeah,
Shorty do
for
what?
me. But
Well, he done wrote a whole post, y'all, on
look at
Facebook.
dude. He sure did.
Oh,
And when I saw the title for the post,
Uh-oh.
I was like, oh, God, what do you do? Because the whole Bill Cosby situation's going. But as I read it, snaps to Michael J. White, because he was speaking the truth. He basically came out to say this. I'm just going to read a little caption. Basically talking about infidelities in just the world, but he was mostly focusing on black men and how he said, "I'm a black man who's disturbed by the fact that we can have infidelity in our lives and it not be a big deal. It's like society is saying being faithful is above black men and below whites. Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Cosby, the list goes on. Cosby stopped being a hero to me as soon as I learned he was living a lie as a faithful man, period. Lesson is, power should not go unchecked, and he could have been man enough not to embarrass his family. Funny thing is, I'll bet Fat Albert, Theo, or any of the Cosby kids have had episodes about the virtues of being truthful and that hiding the truth comes at the liar's expense." So, I don't know. I agree with what he's saying. I mean, I love me some Bill Cosby, but I think it's just across the board, and I think it's just important, not just for Bill Cosby, but just across the board in Hollywood. Like, it's ridiculous that we allow situations to happen, and we put it on a pedestal, and we talk about it, and we run it through the media, and it's almost like, okay, we ran it through the media, we're done, and we accept it. We allow these people to remain icons in our lives. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, with Bill Cosby's situation, I feel like he hasn't been convicted yet. So I think by him not even being convicted, they're just going off of he say, she say, and they don't have any true like facts yet.
But he's not saying about the rape. He's saying just because it is known that Bill Cosby cheated on his wife.
Right.
Okay,
So
right.
he's saying just
but everybody
that period.
in general in Hollywood, let's just say, is cheating on their wives.
But is that a good enough excuse?
It's not a good enough excuse.
That's where
Well-
I would like to know Michael's truth though. You know?
I mean,
but Michael, I'm sure he's cheating too. So it's like.
It's sad that we're in a world where we have to think like that, though.
Well, my thing is like I just feel like people put other people down, and it's like you're probably doing the same thing in situations, and I feel like people shouldn't be put on a pedestal and then like still be seen as an iconic person. But at the end of the day, just because you cheated, you should be taken with your worth and what your value is of like the acting skills that you have because because you cheated.
Yeah, and for me, okay, so make sure y'all know we're taking the whole rape thing out of this conversation right now. But in terms of virtues and what is valued by certain people and whatnot and the other, and how he said that, Bill Cosby's a cheater and that alone is, what takes it out. For me, at least, if he is cheating, that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with his wife.
Exactly.
And that, to me, like, sexual and your romantic relationship, if you're accepting that then and you love it, then I love it too. That's none of my business, and that is not a commentary to me on your art as work per se. So I kind of take a little bit of an issue with that. Like, do I believe as a society that we like are fine with, promiscuity and over-sexualizing everything? Absolutely. But in terms of adults in a monogamous relationship, they get to define that however they want, and it's not for me to judge one way or the other. Watching him on television, he's
totally
cheating on his
right?
wife. If he's cheating on his wife and it's very clear that she's known about it and has been fine with it, then who am I to say anything? Like, that's what you want in your life? Fine. I don't want that in mine.
Right.
But that's on you, and that's not what I'm going to teach my kids, is something to value and be valued. So I think it's something to look at, but to determine that we somehow don't have the same value for their work because they've made choices in their personal romantic lives that are accepted by the person they're in a romantic situation. It's one thing when you if he was having sex and giving HIV to everybody and didn't tell nobody that he had HIV. That's a different thing to me than being in a relationship with somebody who has determined that they accept that you
are out here
doing the dirt, and because then it doesn't become dirt, because that's an honest decision between the two of them of what's valuable, and what's valuable to them is just to still be together as a facade of a strong couple with nothing else going on, and then whatever. So I don't get to determine that.
What did you think about the cheating? It's above black men but below white men. As accepted.
I don't really understand what he means by that.
I was trying to, I'm really kind of reaching, but what I'm thinking he's meaning by it is like, if in Hollywood we find out that, a white man is out here cheating on his wife, it's kind of looked at like, oh, that's bad, but we'll still accept him in movies where he's saying, these people get dragged. And
if that's the interpretation, then I would go with that based on
I'm reaching for that, because as I'm reading it, it was a lot. And,
that's a lot.
And as I'm reading it, I can understand his frustration in the moment and posting it. But this is what I'm saying, people, be careful what you post on Facebook, because it could have been in the moment and in the heat, or make sure you know what you're fully talking about. But
and maybe he thought it's a conversation. It's a conversation to have.
I'm happy that he is.
And I think I don't know if he was also sort of speaking to the idea, which is the hypersexualization of black people and black men in general. Like, there's a certain whether it's talking about athletes and whatever, we in this country culturally, we kind of think that is acceptable because it's going to happen, kind of thing. Right. And maybe that's what he means. But I don't know how that makes the white men below it or above.
Yeah, he kind of lost me.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but whatever. He's talking and he's trying to spit some positivity, I guess.
Maybe he has a new movie coming.
Well, let's just hope we don't find out that you cheating, Michael J.
Well, maybe he did at some point, and he's like had his come to Jesus-ness and be like, yo, I don't want to be that no more. I don't have to be like a slave to that.
Well, the funny thing is that you're preaching this, but your characters typically tend to be the player roles.
Yeah, but
then again, you can't judge.
That's also telling stories, like, because what you fit in as an ability to tell a story, like, does that person not get to have their story told because it's a negative character? Like, no, because they're not all good people or all faithful people in the world. So he just happens to be very suited to playing non-faithful people
all the time.
Boom.
I don't know.
Well,
luck.
No, but moving on from all that,
Moving
make sure you
on
guys
from
check out our sister site, AfterBuzz TV. It's whatever your favorite TV show is. As soon as it's over, we're over there talking about it. We do Zoe Ever After.
Oh,
Real
yeah,
Housewives of
Zoe Ever After.
Atlanta. We do.
We're everywhere,
I mean, whatever
guys.
the show is, we do it. We cover it. Even if it's Teen Mom. Which, by the way, have y'all heard about the Teen Mom drama?
Oh, I have.
Well, I was
honey.
trying to get the juice from Courtney.
Yes,
so
girl.
Courtney,
go ahead.
run that
well,
to me, please.
Well,
We gonna
Jesse, you
tell
give
y'all.
us the basic details.
So
What's going
basically,
on.
what happened was
happened?
Nicki Minaj was, sitting at home, eating some strawberries, chocolate dipped strawberries. She was drinking some mixed Moscato. She just smoking a blunt. She just chilling, laid back.
Lay back.
She going through TV, and all of a sudden, she decided to watch a rerun of Teen Mom, which apparently Courtney was watching at the same time.
I'm pretty sure she was
Oh,
watching the
snaps.
same one I was watching. Yeah.
Snap. So, as she's watching this, and if you watch AfterBuzz TV, we do it a lot too. We
Yes.
talk about the show on
Yes.
Twitter. So Nikki felt like joining the Twitter universe while
What did
watching
she
this,
say?
and she came out to say, "Farrah is a cunt to her mother," which, if you've seen the show,
She is pretty mean to her mother since season what was
And
it,
it's
one?
been 7
Yeah.
years now, I think, since the original Teen Mom with them. And yeah, it ain't changed, y'all. It ain't changed. She like 25 now, and it's the same.
She's 25. Oh, because
yeah.
she was
Something like
16
that.
back
She was like
then.
16,
You're right.
17, so yeah.
Nikki then went on to say, "Go do porn and leave Grammy alone. Don't drag mom," because Farrah had replied back to her with, uplift women or something like that, and then she spelt your, Y-O-R.
Yeah.
And Nikki said, "Don't drag mom, learn the difference between your and your." She came out to say, Nikki said, "You help your mother helps you out so much. Why don't you do something nice for her?" She said, "I help my mom. She doesn't help me." I've seen the show.
Well, I haven't seen the
there's
show in
some
years.
truth
Financial
to that.
yes,
financially,
financially.
there's some truth to that.
But you couldn't have got to this place without your mother.
Yeah, but that episode, assuming me and Nikki was watching the same rerun at the same time.
Was the season from this season or like
it's
past
the one
season?
that just started
Oh,
this
okay.
year.
Oh,
It
really?
started like a week ago. And in the first episode, Farrah has to go abroad to do something. And she's asking her mom if she will stay with the daughter in her home to watch her for a month. And the mom's like
Months?
excited. It's a month. It's a
Oh.
month. It's 4
I'm
months.
like, damn.
It's for a month. And so, but the mom was like, yeah, I can do that, whatever. But then Farrah like sits down and like goes through this whole thing. Like, and when you're using the washing machine, I know how you like to just throw 2 things in there, but you can't be using the soap like that. And her mom is like, I can buy more soap. No, mom, I'm saying like, you can't do the soap like that.
Over soap?
Like, it was just dumb shit. Like, she is so extra. Her mom really, and I feel bad because I know they don't have a great relationship, and her mom is definitely not all the way on her rocker and hasn't always been on her rocker, so they've definitely had some conflict. But watching it, you were just like, girl, why are you yelling at your mama like this still at 25 over some soap? Like, they
Because
just
look at her life, though.
so hostile, so hostile.
But this is the second time that
That's-
she's talked about leaving the child, wasn't it? Because I remember when she was going to move to Florida.
Well,
for
she's done a few things. Yeah, she moved to Florida and like left her mom with her mom for a
Like
little
4
while
months
to
or
like
something.
set
4
up.
months?
I
I
don't
wanna
know
say
if
it
it
was
was
a couple
that long,
months.
but
I would be.
I don't
And I remember
My
a lot
baby
of
gotta
people
come
being
with me.
upset over it.
Yeah.
But so it went on. So then Farrah came out to say, "Honey, I slay. I have no time to watch reruns. I'm making TV."
yeah. So she was trying to comfort Nikki, like, I'm working and you're doing nothing.
Well,
but
some
watching
people
me.
feel like she did come and slayed because I mean, it's almost like pot calling the kettle black because she did come out to say, "Girl, your music looks like porn. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing. Stop watching reruns." But the final,
But she's like, whatever, go on.
which okay, I give that
This
one.
is
But then
hilarious.
here's what really bothered me is then Farrah went the extra mile and had her daughter make a video
About
Exactly.
Nikki?
that said Nicki Minaj is a Luther.
Oh.
And now you got the child involved, and that's gross. It's disgusting. And from what I saw, Nikki hasn't responded. I hope at that point Nikki was like, "That's disgusting,"
Yeah.
and ends it.
That's how, because see, that's what, to me, that ended up showing who
Farrah
Farrah really is
Right.
and why Nikki was calling her out. And I don't think Nikki was necessarily, well, she was calling her out, but she was like us watching
like
the
a
show
normal person watching
and
the show.
tweeting about it. I don't
You're
think it
mad.
was like, you know what I'm saying? So I just, whatever. That's why I ended up on Team Nikki, only because I watched it and I was like, this bitch is still talking to her mama like her mama is a piece of dirt. And I know you go through it with your family and your friends, but if your mom is still in your life to the point where you want her to be watching your child, you need to not be talking to her
You have
like
to have
that
respect.
on national television.
Because I know if I would talk to my mama like that, and I'm 35 or 40, she gonna smack the beep out of me.
And you talking about your mom watching the damn kid.
Yeah.
Who cares how much shows? Thank you, Mom, for watching my
for a
child so I
mom.
can go do what I
But
need
in
to
her
do.
mind, she's now working and she's like helped her mom with like plastic surgery at some point, I think, and like all kinds of stuff like that. So they have a weird relationship. I give her credit for
They
that.
just need to go to counseling.
Yeah, well, they've been in that too. They've aired that and it didn't work out so
really?
well. But Farrah talks like that to everybody. The boyfriend that was in that episode that like she broke up with and he was like trying to talk to, like she yelled at him about some nonsense too.
She's probably just a very control freak.
She's very
When I
much
met
a
her
control freak.
in Toronto, she was very controlling with her manager and everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell, but I was like,
Girl.
look, keep that over there.
Girl.
You try me, you
Girl.
gonna just.
I'm just like, girl, you came. She did an interview over at AfterBuzz, Spotlight On, and she brought in a mold of her vagina.
Well, that's her toy.
It's her. She
Oh,
sells
her
it.
toy
sells
for her
sex
pornos,
toys,
yeah.
So I'm just like,
That's
girl.
how she makes her money and takes care of her baby. Good luck, Farrah. Bye, Nikki.
Well, that's a hot damn
Y'all
mess.
vote in our buzzer meter and let us know what you think. And check out Teen Mom OG on MTV on some day. I don't know what day it comes on because I always get it on the rerun.
Keep tweeting, Nikki.
Keep tweeting, Nikki. In addition to some wild Farrah news, we got some new love budding in this world, y'all.
Yes, I'm done.
Go, Patti! All right,
Patti.
y'all. So Patti LaBelle, y'all, she just Patti LaBelle got a new CD or something coming out. She about to drop some music. 'Cause
I mean,
she
no,
got
she's
the
trying to sell
pie,
these
she
cakes.
got the pie, she got cakes coming out because she was dealing with the dude, and now y'all is done leaked that her boo, because she been messing around with somebody for a year now.
Well, clearly
A
her
little.
pies done got her some
Okay.
action. her monkey pie.
That sugar was real sweet, y'all,
Monkey ball
because
pie.
Miss Patti LaBelle, who is 71 years old, is knocking down her drummer, y'all. And his name is Eric Seitz, and he is 41 years old. Do the math. 30 years, honey, 30 years. She is 30 years older, and he is drumming on him some
He
been
is
dr-
waxing her tail off.
He is.
Legs
Patty
up.
just in there like, sounded like what's his name? Right.
Only you do. Anyway, so they said she's been trying to keep it on the low and didn't want nobody to know, but people been finding out. But it's been going on for a little over a year now. And there you go.
I mean, these older women are definitely dating these younger guys
We
because
know who's been tasting the pie.
Girl, or the
mean,
inspiration for the
or the
icing.
inspiration.
right.
Nasty, but keep it. I mean, if,
Hey, I ain't
if
mad
I
at you,
can
Patty.
still get it like that
I might
at
be like
71,
that too. If I'm still single.
71, girl, yes.
Better get yours.
I mean, if you're getting it at 71 at all, like that's amazing.
I always thought that you're not supposed to be getting it
Not
at 71.
supposed to.
Well, in my
break
eyes,
a back.
Why? You gonna hurt yourself?
no, I just feel like
You worried you ain't got a vagina no more?
no. I just always thought that when you get that older, you like
Don't care.
you know, to have sex.
I
Girl,
felt like
have you
that
ever
too.
been around an old folks'
No,
house?
yeah, like that changed my
They
mind.
be
Well,
getting it in.
maybe because I'm around my grandmother and she's so like nonchalant, so like she's like so independent. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I always think to myself like, damn,
Well,
granny,
that's why she
you get horny?
independent. She might
Yeah,
get
she don't
horny
be
and she
telling
ain't
you.
I'll
telling
bring
you.
her a toy
Because
home one day and
some-
see.
She might
Bring
not
her a
like
patty
toys. She might
cake.
like the real thing. You said bring her a patty cake.
Patty cake.
Patty about to go in a new line. She about to-
Oh, yeah, she is. Well, speaking of patties and new line of cakes, yo, we need y'all to give us some ratings like y'all was giving them patty pies over the holidays. We need you to go over to iTunes and help us out. Make sure you download us on iTunes, give us ratings, comments, let us know how we're doing. We need to get our game up on iTunes, y'all. So even if you're watching us here on YouTube, we love you, we appreciate you, subscribe and all that good stuff. But also go over to iTunes and download us. Check us out there and give us some information.
Please.
Bling. All right, so we're going to move on to some of our more serious topics for the week.
Okay.
We're going to get real right now. So, in the news.
Let me adjust my.
In the news. Talking about the news now. We're talking about politics. So, we got our Republican representative, Mr. Sean Duffy, was making headlines this week. He was giving an address to the Congressional Black Caucus, and he was talking about abortion. an abortion in Black communities. And so basically, he started out his speech. It was very, very impassioned, very, very impassioned. And those of y'all that don't know, remember Sean Duffy? He was on Real World back in the day. And he married the little girl, Rachel, from Real World San Francisco. And they've been living in Wisconsin making like 50 babies for like the last 10, 15 years.
Oh, no.
Just happy. And he's been in Congress for a while, and she's just making babies and shows up on The View every once in a while. And, you know, they're doing the damn thing the old American way.
Surviving.
You know, so he's given an address to the Congressional Black Caucus. And it was about a 4-minute speech, I believe, on YouTube. You guys can check it out on YouTube. You really should check it out on YouTube because it's kind of interesting to watch. But so he starts out very passionately talking about like how y'all really believe in Black Lives Matter and young boys, and you're complaining about the police brutality and the kids being killed in the streets. And he goes on to say, quote, "My liberal friends," I'm sorry, I'm judgy. I'm totally judging him right now. He says, "My liberal friends, Congressional Black Caucus members, talk about fighting for the defenseless, the hopeless, and the downtrodden. But there is no one more hopeless and voiceless than an unborn baby, but their silence is deafening. I can't hear them. Where are they standing up for their communities, advocating and fighting for their right to life?" He went on and said much more stuff because he's pro-life, and he's like, you know, he spouted off lots of statistics about Black women being, having more abortions in New York than having live births. That the percentages across the country, like the percentage of Black women having abortions, I think he said like 45%. It was an inaccurate percentage, but we all know that statistics get skewed and change, whatever. But, and he was basically saying that y'all worried about, you know, shooting the kids in the street, but you ain't worried about abortion. So some people got offended.
As they should.
Yes.
Mind you, he's speaking to the Congressional Black Caucus.
Right.
So he is white-splaining the issue of, he's basically saying that the abortion world is targeting the Black community, which a lot of people do believe, but he came at it by sort of chastising the Black Caucus for worrying about Black Lives Matter and shooting the kids in the street, but not worrying about abortion. And it just came off kind of negative to Black people because it's a white dude telling them what they need to do. And Representative Gwen Moore was super offended. And she went on to say that after nearly 30 years of public office, working in public office, not much surprises me anymore. So you can imagine my lack of astonishment when my dear friend and colleague from Wisconsin, Sean Duffy, rolled out abortion statistics among African-American women to lecture Black legislators like me about defending the welfare of our constituents. I don't expect Representative Duffy to understand why his comments were so offensive, nor do I anticipate him apologizing for them. When he and so many of his Republican colleagues fail to understand is the underlying context behind high abortion rates in African-American communities. And she goes on to explain, like, it's obviously a bigger story than just about abortion, and he's not gonna apologize, but they like wanna run the Congressional Black Caucus want to like do a privilege resolution to like publicly chastise him, which is something they can do in Congress to like make it a big deal that he said all this because they were so offended. And yeah, so then it was all over the internets and everybody was really upset with him, but he is definitely not backing down. And as of Tuesday, he basically said he stands by his comments. And he said that them wanting to do that privilege resolution to sort of publicly chastise him is just talk and a distraction.
Oh my.
And he was the one that suffered a character attack.
Girl, bye.
Sorry, that was a really long explanation, but there was a lot there, and there was like 8 million other things that I didn't read.
It
But
sounds
yeah.
like you don't even want to go ahead. Break it down.
I was just gonna say, like, I can't with people that have those type of views. Like, I just no. Like, it doesn't compare. You know what I mean? People shooting innocent Black kids.
Not the same conversation.
But
You almost,
if you want to get them to understand it, you could almost tie it into that because it gets to the point of, okay, why is this happening? Why are these numbers happening?
Mm-hmm.
What programs in these areas are being put out there to help people in these types of situations. You know, why are they having abortions? Are people just out here fucking being like, yeah, nah, I don't want this
people
no
are out
more?
here
just
I mean, well,
No, seriously.
They are kinda
They
just
are.
out
And
there.
I think
but that's a colorless situation.
yeah, that's a
Situation.
colorless
Situation.
situation.
So to sit here and point that out, so maybe if now we're seeing that a number of a specific group is happening, I mean, you could do that with the Native American group, but there's such a small number that no one even looks at them, and I'm only bringing that up because one of my friends had posted almost a conversation like this. She had basically said, no one gives a fuck about Native Americans. Our people are alcoholics, stuck on heroin, and we aren't able to take care of our own because the government basically almost sabotages them, and I do
the government
it does sabotage
definitely sabotaged them.
and so I feel like it's the same situation. And for someone like Sean Duffy to sit up here and preach on a box about damn abortion just because you knocking your damn wife up all the time, get out there and start a program.
It's funny that you
Right.
bring that up because Moore, who I was saying was offended and whatever, and she's actually
shout
from
out to
Wisconsin
her
too.
for her
Shout out to her
response.
for her response, but she also went on in her response. I can't read all of it, but she definitely said, if you're so concerned about it, she was saying like
Help
this
and
hypocrisy
fix.
is crazy. Why have you been no part of helping Planned Parenthood, who is committed to actually giving
Aren't they supposed to be
prenatal
shutting down?
Well, lots of Planned Parenthoods are having issues
Okay.
and funding and all that mess. But she's saying you weren't there to help with getting SNAP programs and WIC programs. And when all these things come up, when these people do keep their children but need help and health care and things
Yep.
like that, you aren't on the soapbox talking about how we can make sure that these children are
Taken
taken
care
care
of.
of, but you're chastising us about
I guess what I
abortion.
meant to say was it's not that people are out here having sex, but people aren't out here wanting to have an abortion. So it's just for me to sit there and it just really blows my mind, his understanding of this.
Yeah, and his insensitivity, because I understand, like, you're pro-life and you are super about that, and I support you in your pro-lifery, because that is a great place to be and a fair place to be if that's what you believe in. My issue is that when you chastise people in this way, you are not getting your point across, because if your point is that you see a big business, and even, because he accused basically the Black Caucus of sort of being compliant in, complicit in the sort of business way that abortion is being supported and funded in these lower income communities and things like that, and that they aren't able to stand up and really be a block and understand that, like, this is a systematic situation that we need to do something about. But your point is lost because you've turned it into an attack about something that is a separate issue. Like, police brutality and kids getting shot in the street
It's totally different
unarmed
from abortions.
is not, and me not, and I think it's wrong personally to say that a woman that chooses to have an abortion
It's the same as getting shot by somebody with no choice.
and shouldn't care about the person being shot in the
Right.
street because you aborted your baby. So how could you care about this child
It's
that was
a lot
shot in the street? Like, the logic is flawed.
Well, he was on the real world.
But he's been in Congress for like ever. He's been there literally for
Well,
like
you hanging out with the
15 or
wrong
20
crew.
years. I don't know.
They poisoning your mind.
Well,
Wow.
he upset a lot of people, but a lot of people were on his team, so.
Of course
Of
they
course,
are.
because he's talking about pro-life, and that's all people hear. Versus, hey, let's fix a
But
problem
it's
and see
even
where the
worse when
problem
you
stems
keep
from.
having kids and then you have to take care of
Because
them on
that's
the
the thing,
county.
like next week it'd be like, oh, you got 5 kids, we not taking
Right.
care of them kids, and
Exactly.
we're
So
cutting
it's like-
welfare, and you need to go get a job and figure out your life. But like, dude,
It's like you do if you do, you don't. I mean, you know, you
damned
do
if
if
you do,
don't.
damned if you
Yeah.
don't. All right, speaking of being damned if you do and damned if you don't,
We all doomed.
POTUS gave his last State of the Union speech this week. Did y'all watch it?
Part of it.
You
I
saw
watched
part of it.
YouTube clips.
I got the end
No,
of it.
I didn't watch it.
I only got the end of it because I was gone,
have that
but
cable.
I got to look it up later. In positive news, he got really positive reviews for the speech. Apparently, 53% of people that watched the speech had a very positive reaction to the president's speech, and another 20% of them had a somewhat positive reaction.
Well,
so
that's actually
overall, he had
surprising.
like a 70.
Because he's always like, they always give him
Hating.
hell.
They be hating on him. They be hating on him. And the other statistic that was really cool, this was from a poll that CNN did. I think it was like 480 people or something that they polled after watching the speech. But 68% of those people actually believe from the speech that the country is going in the right direction, which is kind of a big deal because we've been hearing a lot about everybody saying, oh, it's not going the right way. He doesn't know what he's doing, blah, 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 blah. Just some highlights from the speech. He apologized for maybe not being as, completing as much as he would have liked and as much as he had promised from the beginning, and saying that it was very difficult, but he manned up for his responsibility. I didn't get everything done that I wanted to, and
That's
I tried.
refreshing.
It's hard, though,
Which was
you know?
refreshing. It was very refreshing. He basically spoke to a lot of different things. Primarily, he sort of spoke to the idea that we feel left out of the system and how he wants people to sort of get back in it. And he actually made a comment saying that maybe if he was more like Roosevelt or Lincoln, he would have been able to do a better job bridging the gap between Congress and himself, which I thought was actually kind of profound, that he probably wears that weight pretty heavy, that that the ostracism is crazy now and it's worse than it was when he got in. Right. So that's an interesting thought. But in some positive things, one huge thing that he brought up was education. And he's been working on this STEM program for a few years now. That's actually been going pretty well. Back in 2011, he called for the recruitment of 100,000 STEM teachers, which is the science, technology, and medical field. And he is halfway complete with that effort. But in this speech, he talked about wanting to implement computer science into all the curriculums for public schools across the country, which is huge. And there's been a lot of conversation about how that can really happen and how there's no real certification for teachers to do it, and they don't really know how it's going to go down. But he believes that we need to teach our kids how to learn and write code. Otherwise, we're going to be falling behind even further than we already are. So that was a huge initiative that he brought up. And yeah, he also sort of called people out for the shadiness that they're trying to get where people can't vote and changing districts and stuff like that, so that one party gets the favorable district so that they're voting. It's called gerrymandering, and he wants to reduce the influence of secret campaign funding, which will also alter how we deal with politics in this country, but it's probably not going to happen.
I know. I wish it would.
And he brought up the, minimum wage again and wanting stricter gun laws and things like that. That probably won't happen, but overall, he just sort of addressed 4 main questions about America's future and how we can ensure it for everyone. And he wanted to harness technological change. And he spoke about keeping the country safe and that we cannot live in fear and make decisions in fear. And a lot of people gave him a little criticism, saying that he gave a little too much voice to Trump in his speech, even though he didn't really say Trump. He was sort of talking about the fear that people are falling into and submitting to, and that's why the rise of Trump exists. And he sort of spoke to that a lot. So we're voting, guys, in 10 months.
Yeah.
Y'all, and it's scary. I mean, I'm still in a place of
If Trump wins,
Ooh, how, what?
I'll be in Canada.
shit.
I'll be streaming live from Canada.
I just... Ooh.
If Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger won, I can't even imagine what can happen in the presidential
And I
election.
remember when he was running, I was like, there ain't no way Arnold Schwarzenegger
That's what I was
is
thinking. I
about
was
to be the
Terminator,
governor.
Terminator.
Really?
I'm
But
kind of feeling like Bernie is gonna shoot the polls.
Bernie is gaining traction because Iowa's coming up. Basically, he and Hillary are tied right now, and she's currently falling, and he's rising. So he could very well beat her in Iowa right now, and that's in.
What just scares me with Hillary is, we don't even want to. I'm not even gonna call it one candidate. What scares me about is whoever goes in next. Like how you said more than half of the country feels that we are
Moving in the right direction.
moving in the right direction. That's great that we're all there right now. But coming up, I'm scared where we're going to, what direction we're even going into at this point.
Well, I would hope that. I mean, I'm not the political person because it gets really.
But you're
deep.
about to have a baby, so you're
I know.
building
so
the
I have
future.
to build it exactly. I have a little baby that's going to be going through all these life changes and stuff that's going on. And by Hillary, I just know that she has a good backbone, which is Bill Clinton, because he kind of had it going on when he was in office. I just hope that he can bring some type of,
But I don't like that everyone keeps talking about Hillary and then they keep hauling in the Bill Clinton.
Well,
I mean, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but
I'm
it's
definitely not voting for Trump.
I want a candidate where I know
not.
I can be 100% for this candidate because this candidate makes me believe, not because the commercials make me believe.
So if you had to vote today with everybody in it, because let's say everybody got to run and it's
might
not
have
going to get
lost
down to
my
the two,
vote.
who are you voting for?
I don't know. You guys, it's so hard.
It's hard.
It was hard when I did my first vote at 2004. I was just like, really? And then at that age, you still don't even understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have my mom like, Mom, okay, what is, you know?
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm old enough to be like, look and view everything from my own perspective.
Well, what blows my mind is when I was first able to vote and I got the pin, I was like, wait, there's more than Republicans and Democrats?
There's other
The
parties.
Rainbow Party? Like, is that what I'm supposed to be a part of? Like, you know what I mean? So it scared me, and I'm going to be real. I actually did, the chance that I was able to vote the first time, I didn't, because when I got that ballot, I was intimidated. I was like, if I just check one or the other just because I know two names, what justice is that really doing? So I did not vote the first chance that I was able to. For that reason, I wanted to get up and study some of the different parties. So I think that's important. I wish that programs and networks would really focus on educating kids on different parties, because I feel like we always really stick to black or white, this or that. And I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. When Obama came, I was like, "Yep, I voted for him because he."
That's not what I meant by black and white, y'all. But yeah.
Ooh, I'm just kidding. No, I'm serious.
Yes,
But
you're too weird. Yeah.
But when I was young, you know, I just went based off of what my mom went because I didn't understand politics like
but
that.
that's what most people do.
So I'm like, Mom,
Like,
who, and
yeah.
you know, I'm just like, I don't know what this stuff means, and I don't sit there and watch the debates and get all technical. So
Because even then it gets down. There are certain things I watch with the Republicans, and I can understand certain things on their side, and I'd be like, okay, I get this. And then they say some real fuckboy shit, and I'm like, but the same thing with the Democrats. So it's like, okay, am I an independent? But then you hear some independent parties, and you're like, oh, nope, not there either.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Do your research.
The
y'all.
struggle is real. Well, do your research and keep understanding that it does matter, because we keep getting further away to believing that it doesn't.
It does.
Which makes that become a reality, because if we keep believing that it doesn't matter, then it really will not. So, and that's not all positive, because I, goodness knows, have no idea who I'm voting for, because in fact, I voted 2 times now? I don't remember. But now I'm like,
Just once.
I can't, like, I don't even know what to do with life, because it's so not okay with everything that is. Everybody got some major problems, but I guess the whole point is that you pick someone that most aligns with what you believe in, and that you hope will be able to make decent decisions, because nobody's going to fit everything you believe in.
right.
And believe who you believe in, not who's influencing you.
Unless it's Ted Cruz. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Wait, he's the platform for you.
Please just say no to Ted Cruz. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, because we didn't talk about this last week. Really quickly before we wrap up, did y'all see the Janice Dickinson clip?
I saw it
We have
because
not
you
had-
posted.
Janice.
What did you guys just take from that? Was she on drugs? Was she? I
She's
felt like she was
always on
reading.
drugs to
She's
me or
always on
something.
drugs.
Yeah,
I
I saw the Chateau Lamo.
I'm like, does she never not do drugs?
I don't. Think
Every time I've
so.
seen her in person, it's cool.
I don't think so. And I think whoever did, what was it, Nancy Grace? Your producers and Nancy are exploitative, because she was obviously not
Nancy don't care.
lucid.
She's
It's
crazy.
ratings, and that's why they do it. But she wasn't lucid, and it's whatever.
I just had to throw that out there because I was done and haven't
It
had a
was
platform to talk about it. So.
amazing and shocking and great entertainment, but at the expense of a woman who's obviously troubled deeply. Well, for
I
those of you
can't
guys,
breathe.
Well, I'm having hot flashes, so
it's very hot in here, and
All right, let's get her out, y'all.
we're gonna get her out of here so she can get some more snacks and a hot AC in her face, because it is warm. We thank you guys so much for joining us this week.
Like-
Don't forget to go to our buzzometer question. That just sounded weird. Buzzometer question, and let us know who you are on the side of. Are you Team Farrah or are you Team Nicki Minaj? I already told you I'm Team Nicki Minaj. I don't know who they are, because they kind of just was like,
well, no, Farrah, clearly Team Nicki, because
Team
Farrah
Nicki?
is fucking.
Are you Team
cuckoo.
Farrah, Jesse?
No, I'm Team Nikki.
Okay, so we're unanimous here. We're Team Nicki. Let us know how
You never get your child
you
involved.
are. BlackHollywoodLive.com. Vote it out. Where can they find y'all during the week?
Oh, during the
Or
week.
over the weekend?
Over the weekend.
Whenever.
What's your number?
All day, girl. All day.
What's your name?
Where Where are you gonna be?
You can find me on Twitter at I am Camila P and Instagram at the real Camila P.
Hey, she got it right that time.
I got it right.
She got it all.
Well, it helps her.
Okay.
It's your Twitter
She was
handle.
struggling.
Because you know,
The
I'll be
baby's
having-
taking
She
the energy.
struggles. Oh, that's right. Pregnancy brain.
Yeah, pregnancy
There you
brain.
go.
I have an excuse, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Jesse, where they gonna find you?
Hit me up everywhere at DJ Jesse J.
All right, and you guys can find me at Stuart Starlet, and I just forgot it as I was saying it.
I was gonna say pregnancy break.
It came on. Don't you call that on
Sorry,
me, Jesse.
Jesse.
No, Jesse.
Give you
Anyway,
energy back in the name of Jesus.
at Stuart Starlet, follow us at BHL Online, and we love you. We thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful and fantastic weekend, guys.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.